My name is Sarah, and this is the story of how my life changed completely. It started on a cold winter morning when I was 25 years old. I lived alone in a small apartment in the city. Every day was the same: wake up, go to work, come home, sleep. I thought I was happy, but I was wrong. That morning changed everything. I was walking to the coffee shop near my office when I saw a man sitting on the street. He was old, maybe 70 years old. His clothes were dirty and torn. He was shaking from the cold. People walked past him like he was invisible. I stopped. Something in my heart told me to help him. I went into the coffee shop and bought 2 hot coffees and a sandwich. I walked back to the old man and sat down next to him. "Good morning," I said softly. "Would you like some coffee?" The old man looked at me with surprise. His eyes were blue and kind, but very sad. You want to help me?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "My name is Sarah." "I'm Henry," he said, taking the coffee with shaking hands. "Thank you. It's been 3 days since someone spoke to me like I was human." We sat together for 10 minutes. Henry told me he had no family and no home. He had been living on the streets for 2 years. As I listened to him, something inside me broke. How could I walk past people like Henry every day and not see them? That day at work, I couldn't think about anything else. I kept seeing Henry's sad eyes. After work, I went back to find him, but he was gone. I looked everywhere, but I couldn't find him. For weeks, I searched for Henry. I visited shelters and asked other homeless people if they knew him. Finally, I found him at a shelter across town. He was sick with a bad cold, but when he saw me, he smiled. "Sarah, you came back," he said. "Of course I came back," I said. "I've been looking for you everywhere." From that day, I visited Henry 3 times a week. I brought him food, warm clothes, and most importantly, I listened to his stories. He told me about his past, how he used to be a teacher, how he lost his wife to cancer, how he lost his house when he couldn't work anymore. "You know, Sarah," Henry said one day, "you remind me of my daughter." "You have a daughter?" I asked. Henry's face became very sad. "I had a daughter, Emma. She was beautiful, just like you. We had a fight 5 years ago, and she stopped talking to me. I don't even know where she lives now." "What was the fight about?" I asked gently. "She wanted me to move to a smaller house after my wife died. She said I couldn't take care of myself. I was too proud. I told her I didn't need her help. Those were the last words I said to my daughter." Henry started crying. "I was so stupid, Sarah. My pride destroyed everything." I held Henry's hand. "It's not too late, Henry. We can find her." "No," Henry said. "She's better without me. I'm just an old homeless man now." But I couldn't give up. That night, I went home and started searching online. I looked for Emma Johnson in every city. I found many Emma Johnsons, but none seemed right. Then I remembered Henry telling me Emma was a nurse. I searched for Emma Johnson, nurse. I found her. Emma Johnson worked at a hospital 2 hours away from our city. I found her phone number and address. My heart was beating fast. Should I call her? What if she didn't want to see Henry? The next day, I told Henry what I had found. He was shocked. "You found Emma?" he asked, his voice shaking. "Yes, Henry. She's a nurse at City General Hospital. She lives just 2 hours away." Henry started crying again. "I can't, Sarah. Look at me. I'm dirty, I'm homeless. She'll be ashamed of me." "Henry," I said firmly, "Emma is your daughter. She loves you. I know she does." It took me 2 weeks to convince Henry. Finally, he agreed to let me call Emma. My hands were shaking as I dialed her number. "Hello," a woman's voice answered. "Hi, is this Emma Johnson?" I asked. "Yes, who is this?" "My name is Sarah."
I
I found your father. There was silence for a long moment. Then I heard Emma start crying. My father? Is he alive? She asked. Yes, he's alive. He's been living on the streets, but he's alive. Oh my God, Emma cried. I've been looking for him for 2 years. After our fight, he disappeared. I went to his house, but it was empty. I thought he might be dead. He's not dead, Emma. He's sick and sad, but he's alive. And he misses you very much. Where is he? I'm coming right now. Wait, I said. There's something you should know. He's been homeless for 2 years. He's not the same man you remember. He's lost weight, his clothes are old, and he's very sad. But inside, he's still your father. I don't care what he looks like, Emma said. He's my father. I love him no matter what. Can you bring him to the hospital where I work? I'll take care of everything. The next day was the hardest day of my friendship with Henry. He was so nervous about seeing Emma. I helped him shower at the shelter and gave him some new clothes I had bought. He looked much better, but he was still shaking. What if she doesn't want me? Henry asked in the car. She does want you, Henry. Trust me. When we arrived at the hospital, I saw a woman running toward us. She had blonde hair and kind blue eyes, just like Henry. It was Emma. Dad, she cried, running to Henry. Henry stood frozen for a moment, then opened his arms. Emma ran into his arms, and they both started crying. I'm sorry, Emma, Henry sobbed. I'm so sorry for everything. No, Dad, I'm sorry, Emma said. I should have looked harder for you. I should have never let you go. I stood watching them, crying too. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. Emma took Henry home that day. She had a big house with a garden. She made a comfortable room for Henry and promised to take care of him. Before I left, Emma hugged me tight. Thank you, Sarah, she said. You gave me back my father. How can I ever thank you? Just love him, I said. That's all he needs. But my story with Henry's family was not over. A week later, Emma called me. Sarah, there's someone I want you to meet, she said. Who? I asked. My brother, Michael. He's coming to see Dad tomorrow. Would you like to join us for dinner? I said yes, though I was nervous. The next evening, I went to Emma's house. Henry looked so much better. He was clean, wearing nice clothes, and most importantly, he was smiling. Sarah, Henry said when he saw me, come meet my son, Michael. I turned around and saw a tall man with dark hair and the same kind blue eyes as Henry and Emma. He was very handsome, but that's not what caught my attention. It was the way he was looking at me, with interest and kindness. So you're the angel who found my father, Michael said, shaking my hand. I'm no angel, I said, feeling my cheeks get red. I just did what anyone should do. No, Michael said seriously. Not anyone would do what you did. You saved my father's life, and you brought our family back together. During dinner, I learned that Michael was a doctor. He had been searching for Henry too, but he had been looking in the wrong places. He was kind, funny, and intelligent. Every time he looked at me, I felt butterflies in my stomach. After dinner, Michael asked if he could walk me to my car. Sarah, he said as we walked, I know we just met, but I feel like I already know you. My father has told me so much about you. You have the kindest heart I've ever encountered. Thank you, I said quietly. I was wondering, would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow? Just us. I looked into his eyes and felt something I had never felt before. Yes, I said. I would like that very much. That was the beginning of my love story with Michael. Over the next months, we saw each other almost every day. He was everything I had never dared to dream of in a man. He was kind, caring, intelligent, and he loved his family deeply. But more than that, Michael and I shared the same values. We both believed in helping people. We both understood that family was the most important thing in the world. And we both knew that sometimes the best things in life come when you don't expect them. 6 months after we met, Michael and I were walking in the park where I often went with Henry. It was a beautiful spring evening, and the flowers were blooming everywhere. "Sarah," Michael said, stopping suddenly, "there's something I need to tell you." "What is it?" I asked. Michael got down on one knee. My heart stopped beating. He pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was the most beautiful ring I had ever seen. "Sarah, you came into my life like a miracle. You brought my father back to us, but more than that, you brought love into my heart. I never believed in love at first sight until I met you. Will you marry me?" I started crying and laughing at the same time. "Yes," I said. "Yes, yes, yes." Michael put the ring on my finger and kissed me. At that moment, I realized something important. Love really does come when you least expect it. I had been living my life thinking I was complete, but I was wrong. I needed Henry to teach me about kindness. I needed Emma to show me the importance of family. And I needed Michael to show me what real love feels like. We were married 6 months later in Emma's garden. Henry walked me down the aisle because my own father had died years earlier. As we walked together, Henry whispered in my ear, "You know, Sarah, when you first gave me that cup of coffee, I thought you were just being nice. I never imagined you would become my daughter." I squeezed his arm. "I never imagined it either, Henry. But sometimes the best surprises come in small packages." The wedding was small but perfect. Emma was my maid of honor, and Henry gave a speech that made everyone cry happy tears. 2 years ago, I was alone and forgotten, Henry said. I thought my life was over. Then an angel named Sarah sat down next to me on the street and changed everything. She didn't just save my life. She brought my family back together, and she brought love into all of our hearts. Today, I'm not just gaining a daughter-in-law. I'm celebrating the woman who taught us all what it means to love without expecting anything in return. As I listened to Henry's words, I thought about how much my life had changed. 1 year earlier, I was walking past homeless people without seeing them. I was living alone, thinking I was happy, but really just existing. Now I had a husband who loved me completely, a father-in-law who thought I was an angel, a sister-in-law who was becoming my best friend, and most importantly, I had learned what it really meant to live. After our honeymoon, Michael and I bought a house near Emma and Henry. We saw them several times a week, and our family grew stronger every day. Henry's health improved so much that he started volunteering at the homeless shelter where I first found him. I want to help people the way you helped me, Sarah, he said. 6 months after our wedding, I had some exciting news to share with my family. Michael and I were having a baby. When I told Henry, he started crying happy tears. A great-grandchild, he said. I never thought I would live to see this day. You'll be the best grandfather, I told him. 9 months later, our daughter was born. We named her Hope because she represented all the hope and love that had come into our lives. Henry was the first person to hold her after Michael and me. Hello, little Hope, Henry whispered to her. Your mama saved my life, and now you're going to fill it with even more joy. As I watched my father-in-law hold my daughter, I thought about the strange way life works. If I hadn't decided to help a homeless man on that cold morning, none of this would have happened. I wouldn't have found Henry. I wouldn't have met Michael. I wouldn't have fallen in love. I wouldn't have this beautiful family. But it wasn't just about the good things that happened to me. By helping Henry, I had learned something important about myself. I learned that I was capable of more love than I had ever imagined. I learned that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness can change everything. I learned that real happiness comes not from what you get, but from what you give. Henry lived with us for 3 more wonderful years. He got to see Hope take her first steps, say her first words, and celebrate her second birthday. He was the most loving grandfather I could have imagined. One morning, when Hope was 2 years old, Henry didn't wake up. He had died peacefully in his sleep, with a smile on his face. We were all heartbroken, but we knew he had died happy. He had spent his last years surrounded by love, watching his family grow, and knowing that he was cherished. At Henry's funeral, hundreds of people came. There were people from the homeless shelter where he volunteered, people from our neighborhood who had gotten to know him, and people whose lives he had touched in small ways. As I listened to story after story about Henry's kindness and wisdom, I realized something beautiful. Henry hadn't just been saved by love. He had spread love everywhere he went. The man who had once felt invisible and forgotten had touched more lives than he ever knew. Emma spoke at the funeral. "My father taught me that it's never too late to start over," she said. "He taught me that pride is less important than love. And he taught me that sometimes angels come disguised as ordinary people, like Sarah, who saw him when others looked away." After the funeral, Michael, Emma, Hope, and I sat in Henry's favorite spot in the garden. We shared memories and cried together, but we also laughed. Henry wouldn't have wanted us to be sad for long. "You know what Dad would say if he were here?" Emma said. "What?" Michael asked. "He would say, 'Stop crying and start living. You have love, so share it.'" She was right. That's exactly what Henry would say. Now, 5 years later, our family has grown even more. Michael and I have 2 children. Hope is 7, and our son Henry, named after his grandfather, is 3. Emma married a wonderful man named David, and they have twin girls. Our family gatherings are loud, chaotic, and full of laughter. Every morning when I wake up, I think about that cold day when I decided to buy coffee for a homeless man. I think about how one small act of kindness changed everything. I think about how love really did come when I didn't expect it. I still volunteer at the homeless shelter where Henry worked. I still try to see people that others look past. And I still believe that everyone has a story worth hearing, a heart worth loving, and a life worth saving. Sometimes people ask me what I learned from my experience. I always tell them the same thing. Love is not something that happens to you. Love is something you choose to give. And when you give love freely, without expecting anything back, it comes back to you in ways you never imagined. I learned that a homeless man could become a beloved father. I learned that a stranger could become a soulmate. I learned that the family you choose can be just as strong as the family you're born into. But most importantly, I learned that it's never too late to start living differently. It's never too late to open your heart. It's never too late to love. My name is Sarah, and this is my story of a love I didn't expect. It started with a cup of coffee on a cold morning, and it changed everything. The homeless man became my father. The doctor became my husband. The stranger became my sister. And I became someone I never knew I could be. This is why I believe in unexpected love. This is why I believe in second chances. This is why I believe that every person you meet has the potential to change your life. Because sometimes, when you're not looking for love, love finds you. And when it does, it doesn't come alone. It brings family, it brings purpose, it brings hope, and it brings a future you never dreamed was possible. The love I didn't expect became the love that defined my life. And every day, I'm grateful for that cold morning when I chose kindness over indifference, love over fear, and hope over despair. That choice made all the difference.